Now that we've used R to identify the top issue, right? The top issue being the 209 manifest.json occurrences that result in a 404. And now that we've seen that it happens on a number of different URLs, we actually saw that it happens on 156 different URLs have this particular issue with this 404 or broken link for a manifest.json file. Let's try to understand why that is, right? What exactly is going on that cnet.com has this particular broken URL on their site. So let's navigate over. I mean, let's pick a new one this time, actually. So let's go over to this one. We already looked at the first one, right? Because that's the Spanish site that we looked at in our very first video in this series. So let's head over to this URL. This is an English site, so that's good. In English. Let's right-click, view page source, and do basically the same thing, right? We'll search for manifest.json. We click on the link, and we get a very, very similar 404. Um, this time it's in English. um, so there's something here, right? It's going to likely be the case for each of these 156 different URLs. Um, if we want to see one that's working, um, we can go to the main page again. Again, we'll view the page source. We'll search for manifest.json. And this is basically, I believe, what it's supposed to look like. And if we search for something like this, I happen to have already done this search, but if you, in your browser, just search for manifest.json, one of the top ones is this manifest file format from Google Chrome. This one is for extensions, this one is for apps. It's likely that we're dealing with an app here because it's a web app. So let's take a look there. And as it turns out, manifest.json is in a format that's extremely similar to the one that we see in the CNET site, right? It looks virtually identical in terms of structure. So it references short name, name, icons, and in this manifest file format, let's do a quick search. There's short name, right? I'm sure there's a name here somewhere. Version name, there's name over there. And I bet you anything there's an icon, there's icons, right? So I think we're dealing with the right file format and the kind of usage of what this is, right? It's likely cnet.com has some sort of app that's in the background. I'm not familiar with this particular technology, but what's likely happening, and this is just a guess, is that cnet.com has a bunch of stuff that they include in the beginning of every one of their pages. So things like this logo up here, this search bar, these menus over here, right? If we go over to a different page, we see very, very similar things, right? Same search bar, logo. And included with all of that, they don't want to keep repeating it like, copy and pasting, right? So maybe they have some mechanism of including a file that has all this information, right? Maybe something includes this big chunk of text right over here, this big chunk of text. So somebody likely included this little chunk here as well, right? And apparently that little chunk works perfectly on the main page where manifest.json exists, but in other sub-URLs, like this, sorry, not this one, like the sprint will cover all costs to switch carriers page, or the Spanish site, right, or any of the ones that we saw that we had identified using R. Um, that manifest.json file does not exist, which is why it's considered a broken link. Um, yeah, so basically that would likely be something that should be fixed. It may not be affecting any users. Who knows? Um, but in summary, what we've done so far is we've used a tool to generate a data set. Dataset wasn't extremely large, but big enough that maybe it's a little bit difficult to go through every single record. We loaded that data set into R. We did a little bit of cleaning. We got a feeling for the shape of the data set. We then kind of filtered it and drilled in and filtered it and drilled in some more, did some frequency analysis, and we identified a key issue. The key issue being the 209 instances of manifest.json that result in 404s. We then did a little bit of digging and investigation to figure out what manifest.json is, and basically made a guess as to what the cause is for the manifest.json. If you were a software tester, you'd report this. If you were a developer, maybe you'd fix this. But that's basically it. That is kind of whirlwind tour of R for a very real world problem of identifying broken links. Thanks for listening.